We are looking at a revolutionary technology, far more consequential than anything that we've ever seen in the history of humanity. We are not prepared to deal with it. If we don't have work, what do we do with our lives? If we're not paying taxes because we don't have jobs, how does that impact government services? Who makes these determinations? You tell me, but I have not seen any serious discussion about this.
Welcome to the golden age, let the whole world listen, turn the dial up, elevate, this is our ignition, take it to the limit, come and get with it. Welcome to the golden age, let the whole world listen, turn the dial up, elevate, this is our ignition, take it to the limit, come and get with it. If you tuned in, you already know the vibe, we're breaking through noise to the edge of the time, open your mind now, step into the sound, this is where the future gets built right now. If you tuned in, you already know the play.
All right, welcome to the golden age. It's Tuesday 10th, 2026. This is actually episode 7. I'm Hector, the tech guy.
And I'm Irina, the psychologist.
Awesome. Yeah, this show is about navigating the future that's accelerating. It's about technology, and it's about economic changes that are going to happen in the blink of an eye. Some call it the singularity, but whatever you want to call it, we are going to see an almost unrecognizable world in a very short time. So we're going to point to the evidence that this is the case, and then together we'll work on making that change empowering and not scary. So I had a idea for a theme here because I was looking at some of the older podcasts, and
So many episodes ago.
so many episodes, so long ago. And I think one of the things that I think we might tend to do over time is like we're informing ourselves, right? And so we get more and more educated, and I think we forget that so many people are not far behind. But I think we need to like start simple, right, in every episode, and maybe rehash some things. That's not really a bad idea. So um, I was just going to talk about a couple of things. Unless you wanted to go first with anything.
The only one thing I did read that I thought was so interesting was I read something about, our school system being, it was already antiquated as it was, but now with AI, the things that we're teaching our kids, math,
Yeah.
how to, writing essays, they don't need to. They need to learn to read. They need to learn to do basic math, but the things that they're spending the majority of their time doing in school, AI is going to be able to do within seconds. And so the system that we're using right now to educate our kids is no longer going to be of much service to them. And I don't know how we're going to change that.
And change it in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would make the case it was already antiquated and we were already doing the wrong thing. I was actually talking to my son about this morning. He had some concerns about his grades,
How old is your son?
and he's about to turn 13.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's very grade focused, and which is good. And I said, don't stress about it because the most important thing is that you're learning the subject. Don't focus on the grade. And then I had this idea to like how I could help him kind of process how to do that. And I said, look, son, in my opinion, the way that we grade students is completely backwards. Because you start the year or the quarter or semester, whatever, and you have 100%. And then for every mistake, you're penalized. It goes down and down and down. That is not psychologically satisfying for anybody, right? What they should do is gamify it where as you work, when you do well, when you complete something, you get points, right? And you don't go on to the next thing until you understand the thing that you're on. So now, one, everyone would have to work at a different pace. I get that. That's difficult in itself. But that's because we're focused on this 30 kids, one teacher. So there's a rate limiter. But with AI, there's not going to be a rate limiter, right? So kids can learn at their own pace. They can work on a point system like a video game and then shoot for that 100 points or whatever it is and not have to get, frankly, humiliated when they have a bad day and they lose points and they can't get it back unless there's like extra credit or something. So I think that made him feel a little bit better. And I told him, we can't change the system right now, but just think about it that way. Think about it that you're just there to learn. And I said, frankly, you're in the 7th grade. If you got all B's or C's, as long as I knew that you knew what you studied and you retained it, to me, that's way more important. And I think that's kind of what you're alluding to, because what we should be teaching them are really fundamental things: how to learn. critical thinking.
Judgment, critical thinking. Yeah.
And then also the soft skills. How do you work in teams? How do you negotiate? How do you persuade? Like, we're gonna have to know how to write, but in a different way. And it's
Mm-hmm.
more about the style of writing that you're doing. Is it technical? Is it persuasive? Those are fundamental approaches to writing that aren't going to matter whether AI is doing it for you or not, because you need to tell AI what to do and what you want out of it. If you don't understand that, it's just going to, throw back something that maybe is right. You don't know. You have to have those fundamental skills, and I think that's what we're not teaching the kids. I don't think we've taught them frankly, since World War II, since the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
We got focused in this, very regimented, very, I forgot the term, but that style of school is like been around for a couple hundred years, the kind of British style, that
Mm-hmm.
that machinery of the classroom. But that's all not going to work anymore. And I don't know what's going to happen first, whether it changes or AI changes and we have to catch up, or if there's a chance that we can change the education system a little bit. Because that's, to me, that's where we're going to have success. If we can change how get educated, then as the technology continues and continues and continues to advance, we can keep up. But there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to really adjust, and our kids are probably the most important of those.
Yeah. And I wonder, how soon all of this can even happen. I feel like our school systems are already suffering so much because of lack of funding, and teachers get paid so little, so they're not really invested. And so, yeah, I'm worried that we're not going to be able to change fast enough to accommodate how quickly the rest of the world is moving.
I think our best chance is probably through privatization and the market. Because you're right, there's no way a government school is going to be able to adjust. That's just not how they're built.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I can think of is like, because I know private schools are already adjusting. Private schools are on top of AI,
Are they
whereas
really?
a lot of them are, and
Oh,
because they can pivot. And my son's not allowed to use it.
really? He's
Yeah,
not allowed
they,
to?
they don't want him to touch it. And they don't talk about it. That's crazy. Not to talk about it. Not to say,
Yeah.
here's how you should use it. I just don't. This is, I guess, is part of our mission here. Is like, you got to understand. You can't put your head in the little ostrich hole and hide on this one.
Mhm.
And if you're an educator, especially, I think. But yeah, educators, unfortunately, as much as I love them, I'm a product of public school, government school. Educators are slow to adjust. They really are. And that's for a lot of reasons. But yeah,
Yeah.
you bring up a good point. I don't know. What do you see? You don't say too much, but what do you see at your location in terms of flexibility and changing curriculum and the awareness of even are they even aware what's going on in your opinion?
Well, I know that some of the tests that are being administered, some of the standardized state testing that's required every single year of all students
Mhm.
is scored using AI.
Okay.
So I know the teachers are using or administering tests that AI scores for them, which I think is really interesting. But as
Mhm.
far as the kids being taught AI, I haven't heard anything about that. I do talk to kids and I do ask them if they're aware of AI. A lot of them are. They're aware of ChatGPT, but I work with the younger population, so
Mhm.
I don't know what's going on at the middle school, at the high school, where I think they probably I would hope it's being used more. But definitely in the younger population, 6th grade and down, I'm not aware of it being something that's being talked about in the classroom. I'm not aware of anything being talked about, like, you're not allowed to use it and we're not allowed to talk about it either, but I don't know that it's being encouraged. But the teachers are definitely using scoring. I mean, I'm sorry, they're
Mhm.
using testing that is scored by AI.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think I said this in our last episode. As a psychologist, we're definitely being encouraged to use AI to make things more parent friendly, because we're used to maybe writing a certain way, very clinical sometimes, and AI can make it a little more parent friendly. We
Mhm.
have a program called Bastion, which is HIPAA compliant. And so the district pays for that subscription for us, which I believe is about $40 a month. And so that way it's, we're HIPAA compliant, and yeah, we're encouraged to use AI. So, but as far as the kids at elementary level, I don't know that they're necessarily being encouraged. I don't know that they're being discouraged. But I don't know what's going on with the
My
older
guess,
ages.
my guess is elementary is just not an issue. Like I said, it
Yeah.
is an issue. Is an issue in the middle school. I don't know what high schools are doing. My guess, and maybe this is something that I should investigate. Actually, and report on next week. Because we're investigative reporters now.
Okay.
Is
I
is
love
is
that.
that yeah? Why not? Is that I'm guessing it is being used, but in niche areas, like in like the maybe like the robotics area or like the computer science labs or science clubs and things like that. I doubt it's part
Mm.
of the curriculum. I
Mhm.
really doubt it, but it needs to be. And when I saw, and we're talking about elementary, and I think people would say, "Well, that's crazy. Why would you have elementary kids?" But that's kind of the point. There's no place that shouldn't be touching.
Yeah, and I mean, elementary kids have their Chromebook. Every student
Yes.
has a Chromebook. So if they
Right,
have a
right.
Chromebook, then why wouldn't they be using AI? But yeah, each every
Yes.
single student has a Chromebook.
Well, and I don't know, I forgot what learning management systems they used in elementary, but in high school, in junior high, they use Canvas, and Canvas has AI built into it already, but it's not servicing the students. It's like internal. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's not like they're learning AI through Canvas, but I have to think about this a lot because I'm trying to figure out how to advise my son, and all I'm doing now is I tell him about what I'm doing. Like he knows about my open claw, he knows about me writing books with AI, and he argues with me. He says that's not writing books, and he
You're
has a
like it's
point. He has a point, but
yeah.
it's doing something. It's making something that would not have existed otherwise, and it took me and the machine to do it. So it's something. It's creation
Yeah,
for sure.
there's that whole point of view of like it's not art if it was created by AI. It's not a book if it was created by AI, but I'm sorry, the book that you wrote with OpenClaw, that's one of the better relationship books I've read. And some of this artwork that I've seen that AI has created, some of these videos, I mean, it's stunning and it's interesting that perspective, it's not really a book, it's not really art if it's created by AI, but AI is mimicking us.
Mhm.
So, why isn't it considered a book? Why isn't it considered art?
I make the case that a lot of things are going to change and quote replace us. I don't know when and if it's going to replace heart. So I think you use the Suno, the music app, right?
Mhm.
You've used that, yeah.
I love it.
There
Yeah.
there's some great music on there, and it's
Mhm.
so exciting when you give it an idea and then it spits out something you like.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening there, but there's something happening there, and it's
Yeah.
heart, but it's us. It's us doing that. I think.
Yeah, there's a band that is being pushed by Spotify. I want to say it's called Velvet Down, where
Mm.
it's a full-on AI band, AI created music, and they've got an Instagram page. I don't know what else they have. They probably have a YouTube, they probably have a TikTok, but it was going viral and the music was really good, but it was completely AI.
Hmm.
All the band members were AI. The music, of course, is AI, and it's just a completely fake band. But if you didn't know any better and you went on their Instagram page and looked at them, you would think it was a real band.
Well, this is not even a new idea. When electronica hit the scene in the 70s, people were like, "You having computers play instruments? Come on." And then now we have just like electronic dance music. It's just a given, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's fine, actually. I think it's fine that these are machine generated.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there's going to be a lot more bad stuff than good stuff, probably. Slop, that was the word I was looking for. There's going to be a lot of slop, but that's fine. There's always bad music anyway, too. So I
What
think
is slop? Slop is just
slop is a term that I first heard used in this current context. You ever use Sora, the video maker
Mhm.
from ChatGPT? Yeah. So they were saying that people were just generating just kind of pointless, useless, not even that interesting videos, and they called it slop.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
So
because it
just,
wasn't
nothing that's
just junk.
something that's not
Yeah,
interesting or
yeah,
artsy or beautiful or
and
okay.
not viral
Slop.
anyway. Just slop. Yeah. And then
Mhm.
people started using that for code, like slop code, and also there's like stuff that AI made that's just not of any real value.
Mhm.
And then they made the case, like, look what AI does, it just makes slop. And it's like, no, no, because it still takes that, but maybe as the human heart to make it good. And we'll see how long that
Mhm.
works.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think education's really, really important. And I think that's what's one of the nuts I'm trying to crack. And that's, like I said, it's something I thought about for a very long time. Being universities, pretty much every university in the country, and I'm guessing the world, but I know in the country, is either has released um, a academic program for AI, a degree in AI, or is working on it. And that's because of the demand of the students, because those college students are like, they've seen the writing on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and they seeing the stats. Like right now, the demographic that has the highest unemployment is recently graduated college students.
Wow. That's really scary.
Hmm. Because all those entry level jobs are the first ones that companies are like, yeah, this person doesn't know anything anyway when they start. I have to take years to train them to get them really where I want them to be. Like not a senior, but like a mid level person.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why do that? Why not just use AI? And I think the students either know that or sense it intuitively, and they're like, please give us an AI degree.
Yeah. Now, I do wonder though, like how valuable is an AI degree when AI is changing so quickly by the time they're done with one course? It feels like everything might have already, changed and advanced so much.
I think you're right. Because once again, even like a computer science professor, he'll sit and pontificate and come up with a curriculum. Then the curriculum has to be approved and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly it's like 6 months or a year later, they're having the course because they plan these courses out. I mean, I've worked in university. These courses are planned and approved a year, 18 months, 2 years in advance. That's all
Wow,
it
that
takes.
takes that long.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so because it's a funding thing, you can't just teach a course, you have to have funding for it. So if you're teaching a brand new course, one, the major would have to be approved or minor. Two, the course has to be approved by the academic senates. And then three, the funding has to be allocated. So it used to have to come from someplace else, or if it's new funding, forget about it. That's going to take a real
Mm-hmm.
long time. So, and even fast tracking that, okay, it won't be 2 years, but it's going to be months. And you're right, it's not going to be in time. And so then what's the answer? Is the answer the same thing as elementary? Focus on foundational skills, even in college. Maybe that's the
Mm-hmm.
answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no like, you don't graduate critical thinking, right? It starts when you're a kid and it keeps on going for as long as you live. And so the college level critical thinking courses are going to be really valuable, I think, still.
Yeah.
Philosophy,
Yeah.
logic,
Logic. Yes.
rhetoric.
There's a list of jobs. I don't know if you've seen this. There's a list of jobs that don't yet exist but will exist in the near future, and they're all AI related.
Hmm.
I need to find that list and maybe we can show it on here.
Yeah, send me the
Um,
link.
okay. And yeah, maybe we can. I'd love to go through that list and kind of dissect each one and see, what's required to learn how to do this job. But
Hmm.
yeah, they're up and coming jobs that are all going to be geared around AI in one way or another.
I
Like a
haven't seen this list, but I've seen people talk about these jobs. Like one of them would be prompt or context engineer.
yes, that's what I was going to say. A prompt
Yeah.
engineer is the one that really sticks with me.
Another one would be an agentic orchestrator, someone like running something like OpenClaw, but in a corporate way.
Hmm.
Uh, but I could think of a few that I've noticed, but I would love to see a full list. We can maybe talk about that next week.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And I think it's important to be aware of that and learn some of those skills.
Hmm. Everybody, you know, elementary kids, college kids, you, me, old people. Sorry,
Hmm.
um, people of a more mature age. I'm not very politically correct. I'm sorry.
No, I was talking to a little girl last week, and I asked her, one of the questions I asked her was, what does ancient mean? She's
Mm,
like, ancient? She's like, I think it means if it's something's 26 years or older.
yeah,
In her mind, ancient is 26 years or older.
yeah. That
That's
is a long
funny.
time ago.
Yeah, that would have been, yeah, 2000, I guess.
That's funny. But yeah, I think everyone should be learning these skills and
Hmm.
learning those job skills and the skills it takes to have those jobs, whatever. I mean, I'm sure it's a guess. I doubt we really know what the jobs are going to look like. People still say, "Hey, if you're a young person, if you're 18 years old, you want to know what to do? Go learn the trades. Go be a plumber or an electrician." May not need them forever, but we sure will for the next some amount of years, and they make a lot of money. I
Hmm.
heard, I heard that someone built a fence. It's like someone I guess I sort of know. He said their fence cost them $6,000 minus the materials because it was all itemized. he figured it out. He was paying this guy $100 an hour to build a fence,
A simple fence.
just like a fence around your
Yeah.
house. Yeah,
Yeah.
a wood plank fence. And so he's like, wait, we should just be doing that.
No, seriously, I've been trying to get my dad's house fixed up, and the quotes that we're getting just for simple things to
Mm,
fix up the house is just ridiculous. It's so expensive. And yeah, having those I don't know what they're called, skills with working with your hands, like construction, carpentry, plumbing, all that. I think that's gonna become more and more expensive. That's one thing AI cannot yet do.
right. It's going to get more and more expensive until uh, AI robots can do it, which is
Mhm.
I think there's two hurdles there. There's the technical hurdle, which I don't know when they're going to solve that. But then there's the comfort hurdle. Like when your plumber comes, your plumber's coming into your house, and that's
Mhm.
already kind of weird, right? But
Mhm.
you're having to, as someone who like, I know plumbing, but let's say someone doesn't know plumbing, so they're trying to explain to the plumber what's going on. The plumber is like trying to interpret this layperson's view of what's going on so he can diagnose it. And troubleshoot it. And that whole interaction, I think we're going to prefer the human plumbers for a while. I just think we will. I don't know how long, but so if my son was 18 right now, I'd probably tell him to go into the trades and learn a skill. Because also, I didn't know that stuff when I was 18. You know what I did when I had a house? I had to learn plumbing. I had to learn electrical. I had to learn all this stuff because I wasn't about to pay people to do it. And
So you
I,
learned.
I
That's awesome.
I learned, and so I remodeled my kitchen almost completely myself. I outsourced the cabinet making because that's really hard, and I outsourced the countertops.
And
But
that's it.
that's it. I did everything else. I did all the framing, the flooring, the plumbing, the lighting, the electrical, everything.
How did you teach yourself? YouTube videos or?
Well, I had a friend who was a contractor, so I cheated, but he didn't do it. He did not do it for me.
Uh-huh.
In
He
fact,
taught you.
because he was a little bit older, and he's like, I'll stand in the room with you for 8 hours if you want, but you're doing it.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And I think it was looking back on it, I wish I had learned all that earlier
Yeah.
because every house should have someone living in that house that knows how to do that stuff, and that's never
Mhm.
going to change. And you
Yeah.
can have your robot, but it's still going to be better if you know how to do it.
Yeah, and electrical is hard. I'd be kind of you have to really know what you're doing because otherwise your house could like burn down if you do it wrong. So it sounds like you did like an awesome like apprenticeship type thing with
I
your
did
friend.
basically, yeah, yeah.
That's
I
so
did essentially
cool.
apprentice. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, the whole thing where you said, people would rather have a human coming in their home than a robot it made me think of that whole, I don't know if you've heard of the whole viral thing where they're going around asking women, "Hey, if you were out in the middle of the forest, and would you rather do you know what I'm talking about?
hmm
A bear or a man? Would you
hmm
rather be stuck in the middle of nowhere with a bear or a man?" And all the women are saying a bear. So it makes me wonder, maybe we're wrong. Maybe most women would prefer the robot coming in than a plumber, a male plumber.
Well, no. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're onto something because the robot can present itself as a female, right? Why not?
Oh my god, that didn't even cross my mind. It could present itself as a freaking bear. What do you prefer?
Puts a
It
little
can be
fur
whatever.
suit on. Oh my
So,
God,
yeah.
things are gonna get weird. Things are gonna get really weird. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe we would prefer the robot.
Robot that comes in, it's just very, very robotic. Of course, they would have to have cameras,
That's the other thing.
but
When the plumber comes, like you put on your clothes, like you don't show up, open the door naked, right?
you
But
don't? Just kidding.
but but the robot has all kinds of cameras, and so you're gonna be like really more like, oh, I better clean up. I better, you know what I mean? I
Mhm,
better put everything
mhm.
away, and that's gonna be another factor.
Yeah,
So
but it would
so
just head straight to where it's supposed to go. It's not gonna, like, walk around into the bedroom unless that's where it's, gonna have to do some work, but
mhm.
I
It's
imagine,
true.
it's here to fix my sink, it's gonna go straight to my sink and that's it. So, but yeah, that'd be interesting. I think I would probably if they said, "Yeah, we can come out and, we can either have a human male come or you can have a robot come,
Mhm.
and they'll do equally the same work and it'll cost the same," I might pick the robot. Rather than if I'm here by myself, if I had my significant other here, maybe, that'd be a different story, but If I was here by myself, I might pick a robot. I wouldn't pick a bear, like a real bear. I would pick the robot.
Yeah, I think I can see that. I guess it's really hard to say. It's going to have to happen before we know how we're going to respond. This is a lot of
Mhm.
things are going to be like that.
Mhm.
I wanted to just touch on a couple terms that, like one of my thoughts. It's like that. Let's take a term and discuss it so people kind of get reset. And one of the terms that gets thrown around a lot, and it has for many years, but now it's starting to get into uh, the main media, is the term singularity and what it means. Like, so singularity is, well, it's been used a couple of different ways. But like before AI, it was used for black holes. And what happens, with the black holes, the sun collapses on itself and gravity pulls it into a point that is essentially infinitely dense. And that's a singularity. And that forms the black hole. In AI, a singularity is the moment in time where technology um, advances really faster than you can understand it. A lot of things would
Hmm.
happen. It's basically when it hits an exponential growth, and it's like it's no longer really noticeable how fast it's growing anymore because it's growing that fast. So like the curve has gone from a curve to just a straight line up. And
Mhm.
at that point, you would expect artificial super intelligence, not general. Artificial general intelligence is like someone as smart as you or me or Albert Einstein. Artificial super intelligence is where the one AI is as smart as every person on the planet, potentially every person that ever existed combined. That's where singularity happens, and that's where no one can really predict when that's going to happen. But more and more people believe it's going to happen, and
Mhm.
the people that not didn't coin the phrase, really popularized it, is a person named Ray Kurzweil. And in 1999, he predicted the singularity would happen in 2029. I believe that's
Wow, he
correct.
that was predicted back in 1999?
Yeah. And or I don't think he thought that it was going to end at 2029, but he was going to like it's going to be so clear that we're in singularity by 2029, which is, people laughed at him.
Mhm.
Didn't seem possible, and it looks like we're on track for that.
Do we know what he based that prediction off of? What info or what beliefs he had that made him
Yeah, yeah. So he was one of really the godfathers of AI. He was working in machine learning and reinforcement learning in the 70s. In the
Wow.
60s, he made a computer that wrote music.
Really?
And
In the
he was,
60s we had computers that were writing music?
yeah, and he was even on a TV show because it was one of those game shows that like guess this person's you know career or job, and then they did the thing with him, and when he was like 17 years old or something. He was super young, and
Oh,
yeah, so
wow.
he's been doing this for 50 years, maybe even longer than that, but yeah, obviously longer than that. And I think he's like 90 years old now, but he was just steeped in it so long. He saw this constant growth of where we're headed in terms of the technology capabilities, and also the discipline. He saw the math improve, he saw everything improve, and he just followed the line and stuff. Yeah, yeah. 1999 or 1998 when he wrote the book, he goes, I can see this about 30 years. So that's what he's predicted, and he's been absolutely accurate. That book is like, if you look at all the things he predicts in that book, it's something like 80 some percent accurate, which is
What's the
incredible.
book called?
Boy, it'll come to me in a second here. I'll put a link to it in the podcast.
Okay, and so he wrote a book with all these predictions, and 87% of them have come true. Are they all technology-based predictions?
They're all AI related. It's something like
AI related?
the singularity is near, or something like that. But
Wow.
we'll see.
Is he
Yeah,
still alive?
he is. He's still alive. He was on my favorite podcast, Moonshots, a few weeks ago, actually.
How old is he now? Is he in his 80s,
Yeah,
70s?
yeah. It's like there's like 80s or early 90s. He's
Wow.
so he's very happy because he was considered like not a conspiracy theorist, but that he's in that kind of category of science. It's like, yeah, yeah, sure,
Mm,
sure.
mhm.
And now it's just, I'm sure it's very satisfying. But
Yeah, look at him now. He's like, "I told you so."
it's uncanny that he basically picked the year, because
Yeah.
the other thing about the singularity is it's not going to be CNN's not going to say today the singularity happened. It's
Mhm.
going to be it's going to be a continuum.
Mhm.
And there are many people that say it's already started, but it's going to be a continuum. And there's going to be some point where we passed. we'll pass a point in time and we'll look back and we'll go, oh, it's like maybe it's 2035. We'll look back and go, oh yeah, 2029 was the year. It might be in retrospect.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like if the black hole has something, what's it called? Point of no return. I'm tired. I can't remember the name of it. The point of no return, the event horizon, where
Mm.
it's the point where when light passes the event horizon, it can never leave, right? And so
Mm.
that's kind of like
Okay.
the singularity. So like once we'll pass it, if you took a rocket ship and you went into the event horizon, you wouldn't notice a thing. But then you would turn around and you would see that it's black around there, and almost only a light ahead of you, and all of a sudden you realize, shoot, I passed the event horizon. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the same thing with the singularity. It's just going to be like we'll look back and go, oh boy, oops.
Yeah. We're not gonna see it coming, but we'll be able to be like, "Oh, now we're here."
Hmm. And it might be might be a shared experience. We might all look at it and go, oh yeah, why didn't we see that?
Mhm.
And that might be the shared moment where everyone just comes to terms with it.
Mhm.
Just a guess.
Wow, 2029, huh?
But
3
related, and
years.
here's another clip we can put in here. Right before this podcast, I was just scrolling on X. I saw a clip of young Bernie Sanders. Well, not young, this was from today, but Mr. Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders, basically in about a minute and a half, spit out the premise of our podcast, saying that people are not prepared for what's about to happen, and the government's not prepared, and he is really, really worried about it. He has a different take on it, a take I don't agree with, but I'll clip it in here, and when you see it, you're going to be like, wow.
Elon Musk, who I don't like and disagree with on everything, it's not a dumb guy. And he says that work will become optional, that AI and robots will do everything that you need. Well, if AI and robots do everything and work is optional, how do you survive? Oh, you're going to get a check. Really? But there is no government because you're not paying any taxes, right? What happens to Social Security? What happens to Medicare and Medicaid? And who's going to determine the check that you get? Really? How much are you going to get? How much am I going to get? And take it a deep step. I mean, this is so revolutionary. Work, you're at work right now. I am at work. Today, God knows, over 100 million Americans are at work. It's an important part of their lives. Deep down, we all want to contribute, whether we're a janitor or a brain surgeon, to our community, right? You take it for granted, but you meet people at work. It's part of your life. Oh, guess what? In X number of years, you don't have to work. What are you going to do? You're going to sit around watching Elon Musk videos? Is that the meaning of life? Have we even begun to have that serious discussion? So if somebody tells me that right now, some guy who's doing a job with a lot of danger or drudgery, and we can shorten that work week, is that a bad thing? No, it's a great thing. How does that person benefit from it right now? So again, bottom line is we're looking at a revolutionary technology, far more consequential than anything that we've ever seen in the history of humanity. We are not prepared to deal with it. If we don't have work, what do we do with our lives? If we're not paying taxes because we don't have jobs, how does that impact government services? Who makes these determinations? You tell me, but I am not seeing any serious discussion about this.
So politicians are waking up to it already. And Bernie Sanders is a pretty smart guy and still pretty with it. And he knows what's happening. So these are little bits of evidence we're going to like lay out there to let people know that Irene and Hector aren't that crazy. We look like we're crazy now, but you look back and you'll go, okay, they weren't that crazy.
You really think people might think we're crazy for just knowing where technology, where AI is headed, and the fact that the world's gonna be a completely different place in a couple years? Like, I guess so, right? I guess there's certain people that don't want anything to do with AI. And yeah, I guess they might not realize, and so they might listen to us and be like, "Oh God, yeah, that's not gonna happen."
I think that's the majority. So here's a poll.
Really?
Here's a poll that I saw. The poll
Okay.
compared the favorability in the United States, the national favorability of ICE versus AI. Guess who was more or least or less.
I would think people would say ice is less favorable. Your AI was less favorable than ice? Are you
I
serious?
ice and a 80% of the public and being AI.
Yeah, I remember we had this discussion where we were
Hmm.
comparing, the support for AI in the US versus China.
Versus China. But now we have this
We
ice
had
metric.
Wait, I'm stunned right now because I don't know, everything I hear and see, it's all we hate ICE, abolish ICE, but they prefer ICE to AI.
Hmm.
That's
I think ICE
insane.
was like surprisingly ICE is actually it's less than I thought. It's about 40% in the United States is really anti-ICE. And
Well,
this is a poll. God knows if it's how accurate it is. But
yeah,
the same pollsters put AI is like 50 some percent unfavorable. So there you go. The
yeah.
majority. I think this is strictly just people that are uninformed and all they think of is Terminator or I'm going to lose my job.
Uh-huh.
But for sure, it's something that's foreign to them. And what do we all do when we
Mhm.
see something we don't know and it's foreign? We don't like
It
it.
scares us and we don't like it. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fear of the unknown
Right. And I
and
had
we
coffee
we
with someone
shun it.
this we shun it. I had coffee with someone this weekend, and they were giving me that side look. I'm like, yes. And I said, well, I'll watch your podcast and see. And it's just a regular
Uh,
person that didn't know tech, didn't know anything about this. Has just used
uh-huh.
Chat GPT and that's it. And so
Uh-huh.
yes, I do think if they polled us, I guess you have them watch our show. If they polled us, they would say that we are crazy. The majority of humans, the majority of Americans, I think we're crazy.
I'm proud of
So.
that.
I'm only proud of it in the sense that I'll be redeemed.
You will be redeemed. Just like the author of that book with the 87% correct prediction.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray Kurzweil.
Let's talk about that article you sent me about what they're seeing. I think they're seeing, well, it's stemming out of San Francisco, where they're saying, what we're seeing in San Francisco is similar to what we were seeing in Wuhan right before COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let me find that. Where's that at? That wasn't what Sam Altman said, was it?
I think, yeah, I think it was several different
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this
CEOs of
is
AI.
Yeah, so this is a quote from actually this is from one of my favorite podcasts, Moonshots. Dr. Alex Wisner Gross wrote an article. He does a newsletter like every few days, and he was talking about someone else. But this is a company called Semi Analysis, and I guess the CEO Dylan Patel, and he says that being in San Francisco right now is like being in Wuhan before the pandemic. Something is happening, and so few people realize it. So even in San Francisco. He's saying that it's only just a handful of tech companies and a handful of really knowledgeable people understand that, like the pandemic, the world is about to change, and we think it's going to stay isolated in Cupertino, San Francisco, or in AI. And AI is not going to affect me.
Mhm.
I sent that to you because I feel like I said something like that on our first podcast.
You totally did.
Yeah, and so I'm not the only one feeling it.
Yeah.
And I don't think this
Yeah.
guy knows. I don't think this guy knows me or watches our podcast. So this is definitely something that is out there.
Yeah, but I was actually surprised that this is coming from San Francisco. I didn't realize San Francisco, like I would have thought it was like Silicon Valley or something.
Oh, it's just north of Silicon Valley. OpenAI's corporate headquarters, is in San Francisco.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, and I think, well, Salesforce is in San Francisco. I think Meta probably has offices there. X used to have offices there until Elon took them out and moved them somewhere. I don't know where he moved them. Probably Texas.
Mm. Mhm.
But he used to have a big X. Well, he used to have a big. I remember the news when he bought Twitter. He took out the Twitter sign and put in a big X sign. That was in San
Mhm.
Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I haven't been to San Francisco in like 20 years, probably more.
it is so
It's been a
different.
long time.
It
Yeah,
is so
that's what I
different.
hear. When's the
It
last
is
time you
not.
were there?
Last year.
Okay, and it was different in what way?
Oh, it's coming back, but like a few years ago, yeah, it just got crime ridden and stores are shutting down. Like the
Mm,
Embarcadero, there's all that shopping around the Embarcadero. All that got shut
mhm,
down.
mhm.
So like Macy's left and jewelry stores left. And then it's just dirty. Like it just
Uh,
really, really like, there's always like New York City dirty, but this one was especially dirty. And then the drug addicts just ruled the streets. And you couldn't park your car on this on people were parking I think still do, park their car on the street and roll down their windows or unlock the
so
door.
that, yeah, I read that so that criminals can see, hey, there's nothing here. Don't break our
Nothing
window.
there.
Don't
Don't
damage our
break our
car.
don't break our window. Go ahead, open my glove box. That's fine.
Jeez, that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's getting a little bit better, but I was there for a wedding last year, a few months ago, and the Waymos are there in full force. I would say like it seems like every sixth car is a self-driving Waymo.
Wow.
But it doesn't feel like as a man, I feel like I'm fine walking around the city. I would not walk around as a single woman, and that's not coming from me. That's but I see people giving that advice there. Just don't do it. Don't even take the BART. They say as a single woman.
Jeez, that's really scary. I saw, here in Santa Barbara for the first time ever the other day, someone that was crossing the street pushing a shopping cart, like, leaned over and I was like, is that someone on fentanyl? You know how they have that
Mm,
zombie, well, I don't even know if it's called a zombie stance, but they're basically like bent half, like they're bent over, like they're collapsed, but they're still standing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that's how they were walking, like they were waiting for the light to turn green so they could cross the street holding the shopping cart, but like just totally bent over. And I was shocked. That's the first time I've actually seen that with my own eyes as opposed to seeing it on TV or on social media or something. And I was really worried about that person. And I was with a friend. She's like, oh yeah. She's like, you see that
Mm,
everywhere in San Francisco. I'd never
hmm.
actually seen that. And she was telling me, we were talking about how, in San Francisco they hand out the needles and all that. And she was saying, it's a form of desensitizing us. And yeah, I was completely stunned. Like I wanted to go up to them and be like, "Are you okay? Like, can we help you?" But yeah, it was really sad. But she
Yeah,
was
there's a
saying
lot
that
of
that's
my kids were asking
it's
about this. They're saying, I don't, they said, we don't see. I was saying there's homeless people in Santa Barbara and Galera. And I don't see them. I said, because we don't go in the circles that they're at. I mean, they're by the train tracks. There's certain key places in Santa Barbara. And God, even Carpinteria has a huge fentanyl problem, homeless fentanyl problem.
really
Yeah, really bad one.
that's so sad.
And there's not much you can do. All you can really do is like have Narcan handy. That stuff that you give them to bring them back to life. Um,
Oh,
just
really?
yeah, actually, I have when I well because I worked at the university. I actually kept it's like a little nasal thing. I kept a bottle of
Mm,
Narcan in my car just because you never know when you come across a college student that's OD'd. It's never happened to me, but it
mm-hmm.
happens. So I'm like, okay,
And now is
why
that
not?
just for a fentanyl OD or
That's
this as
yeah.
well?
Yeah, so there's little test strips. It's like someone's passed out and someone goes, "Yeah, I think they overdosed." You use a little test strip to figure out if it was fentanyl, and then you just take
Uh-huh.
the nasal blower and you just blow it up their nose, and then about 30 seconds later, they come back to life. It's kind of
Wow.
amazing.
How much are those?
But you can get them for free.
Oh, you can get them for free?
Yeah, I think you just go to the pharmacy and say, "Hey, I want some Narcan," and
Narcan.
they should have some available for free.
Mhm. Now, can you give sorry, I think we're going totally off topic here, but I'm
I
just really
know.
curious about this. Can you give Narcan to someone like this person that I saw that was still,
No,
they
no,
were
you don't
still
want to do that.
conscious, they have to be
Yeah.
unconscious. Okay.
I
Okay.
believe so. It's kind of like that scene out of Pulp Fiction where
Yeah.
John Travolta stabs Uma Thurman with the big needle. you, you want to make sure they're overdosed. But it's very similar to that reaction where she just like
Mm.
jumped up and screamed.
Mhm.
Yeah, I shouldn't even be smiling and making light of it. It's terrible. And I forgot. Oh, it was because of homeless. But yeah, no, I think you probably should be trained to do it. But a lot of people's life has been saved by people that just had it handy and realized what to do. And a lot of
Mhm.
the homeless, they're given, like you said, they're given needles. They're also given Narcan too. So I've heard of people in CARP where like one stoner drug addict passed out and then one just Narcaned them, and then they just kept on going. But at least they lived. Right?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's crazy.
it is crazy. But
Crazy
did you
that
know
we're
like
so Uh-huh.
just like I said, we're going off topic.
Yeah.
50% of all the homeless people are in California, in the United States. 50% of all homeless in the United States are in California.
Oh, really? Is it because of our nice weather? Did they get shipped here? Why?
That doesn't hurt. No, it's policy. It's policy. It's
That
because it's more advantageous. Because if you go to Florida, you're not going to get Narcan and needles and services, so they come here. The homeless problem has been going up and up and up and up and up and up. When Gavin
wow.
Newsom was mayor of San Francisco, he said, "I'm going to stamp out the homeless problem."
Mm.
Now he's
Yeah, and
governor,
supposedly use billions of our dollars that now have disappeared, and we still have
which would have been fine. Which would have been fine if he solved the problem, in my opinion.
yeah, he did not solve the problem, and we have billions of dollars that disappeared. I did not know that. We have 50% of the nation's homeless people
Hmm.
here in California. That is insane. No wonder, I've been in San Diego recently and it was horrific downtown. I go to Santa Cruz every once in a while and the homeless problem there is horrible. Santa Barbara, I mean, it's been getting worse. I think it's a little more controlled here, but I see it getting worse. So yeah, it makes sense. That's crazy. I did not know that.
People don't talk about it. I mean, I don't know why.
I mean, it
Politicians don't want
makes
people to talk about it. That's for sure.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
really
we're
the
gonna
least of our
talk about it.
problems. We're going to talk about it. It's the least of our problems as a state. It's just sad. It's a sad human problem, you
It
know,
is a very sad human problem
because
when it
all
can easily be solved.
there's no homeless does not know. There are very few homeless people that just lost their job and have to live on the streets. It's 95% mental health and drug abuse, and we're not really focused on that. We're just focused on providing services and providing housing. You can provide all the housing you want. They're not going to stop doing drugs, and they don't even want to live in the housing you give them because they're not focused on that.
Hmm.
And oh, I'll stop there.
I was just quickly gonna say, I see, I do see a lot of those the homeless people that you're talking about that, obviously they do have addictions and mental health problems. And I'm sure their families have tried to help to some, to the degree that they could, and they just probably ended up giving up because they just couldn't. You can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. But what I have been seeing a lot of um are like vans that you can tell people live there around like our parks, where you can park, where
Hmm.
it's not illegal.
Hmm.
And yeah, you walk around one of these parks and you'll probably see like five, like or just one side of a block where you're like, oh yeah, someone's staying there. You can see like the windows are all fogged up, and or you can just tell the type of van. And I think there's more and more of that as well. Like people that don't necessarily have mental health issues, but for whatever reason, it's just they can only afford to live, out of their car, and it's usually like a type of van that I've been seeing. And
Well,
that's just here in Santa Barbara.
yeah, well, I mean, so I see the vans too in Goleta. There's a street kind of near the ocean that kind of terminates towards where trails are. It's called Pacific Oaks, and there's a big strip. And every morning there's about 20 vans, and they can't stay there, but they in the morning they wake up, they drive somewhere else, and they come back in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
There's also about another 20 cars where people are obviously living there too. And
Okay.
I don't want to understate the actual diversity of the homeless problem. Like there's a homeless problem in Goleta because we have college students living out of their car.
Mm,
That happens. That's actually happening. And that's sad. And that's like
that's really sad.
they're trying to fix that. The university is trying to address that. But the comment I want to make about vans is that there's totally a culture called van life.
Oh yeah.
And I know van lifers who make more money than I do that work out of their van. And
And
some of these vans are like $200,000. Ones that don't look too good because they have all kinds of like solar tech, and they have the Elon Musk's internet on it, and it's just like these things are sometimes tricked out. They may not look it,
but on
but
the inside,
on the
they are.
inside they are. And there's all kinds. There's hippies doing the van life, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there are actual just I can't live anywhere else doing the van life because it's a great place to park and be, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I was just telling my friend, I'm like, if I had a remote job, I'd probably put all my stuff in storage and go, do the van life for a while. So that could potentially be me.
It's attractive except for one little thing. Going to the
What's
bathroom.
that?
Going to the bathroom. Relieving
But
yourself.
those $200,000 ones would
Oh,
have,
those are fine. Those are fine.
yeah,
But
those
a
are
lot of
fine.
like if you see the VW Vanagons, that's got no bathroom in it.
Yeah.
So if you've seen some of these podcasting van lifers, like they're peeing in detergent bottles. You know, It's just, I couldn't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I couldn't do that either. Yeah, the shower, no shower.
The
No, I'd have to
shower,
do.
I I could get used to the shower because I think like once you've gone like 10 days without a shower, it doesn't matter anymore.
Oh my God, it doesn't matter anymore.
I used to like the sponge bath thing, and it's like you just get used to it. It's fine. But the
And
no,
you would know this how?
like I was in college as a nerd playing video games. There was many days without showers. Sure,
You went 10 days without you've gone 10 days without a shower.
maybe not 10 days, but yeah.
Anyways, we digress.
We digress. I don't know what we'll title this episode, but I can see pulling a clip from the van life segment and putting it on the cold open. Anything
Why
else you want to
not?
hit?
No, I think that I definitely want to start looking more into the school system thing. I think that's going to be, and I think you've known this since the beginning too, that I think that's going to be something that we need to start talking about and start addressing as a society, because I think we're doing a huge disservice to our kids by keeping them in this antiquated school system that's really going to be, not beneficial to them in any way in the future. I think that's really fascinating. And then yeah, just digging more into what types of jobs will be needed and valuable in the future with this shift that we're
Hmm.
going to be seeing, that's already here, but we're going to be seeing moving.
More of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's good. Like we can focus on work and we can focus on education because we all do those two things.
It's going to affect everybody. Exactly. So,
Yeah. And maybe that's where we can be the most help. I mean, those were literally two of the prime things when we started. I wanted to keep focused on.
mhm.
Because I think it will be genuinely helpful to people. And we could do the whole, I don't want to say scary, we could do the whole big picture of everything's, the world's going to change. But the more important thing is what is changing in our everyday life, and that's work and
Yeah.
education.
Yeah. And
So,
I think that's, people, I mean, they do care about, hopefully, a lot of people care about what's going on in the world, but I think it really hits home when they realize how it's affecting them individually.
mhm.
So, and it's going to affect all of us.
And I don't want to
So,
feel bad looking back, thinking that I knew what was going to happen and I didn't take action,
mhm.
right? That's like, that's unforgivable, in my opinion.
Action
So,
for yourself or action in helping others or both?
both, especially okay, well, especially for myself, that's sort of a given. I think I would have done that anyway. But like
Yeah.
for my family, for my friends, unforgivable not
Yeah.
to help them out. And then
Yeah.
at large, if you really do believe that you can do something and you don't do it, come on,
Yeah, no,
that's
that's true. That's
you
true.
know,
But it's so hard. I feel like, so many of us, like, I feel like I see this coming and I know, like I'm aware of it, but like, it's like, what do we do? And so I
right.
think that's good that we're having this discussion, because, it's a discussion we need to have is what do we do?
I
What
think
can
we'll
we
figure it
do?
out. I think we'll figure it out. And like the very first episode we said was to ask questions because that's what we're doing. And it's going to
Mm-hmm.
take a while before we start confidently giving people advice on how to address this. And I think we can start giving little pieces of advice, like
Mm-hmm.
be a creator, start making things, you know, think about being an entrepreneur instead of working for the man. Just
Yeah.
try technology. If you haven't tried it before, just try technology. Just try it. Just dabble in it. Those things are all just, I don't think those pieces of advice will change, but I want to focus on the more practical thing. Like, okay, how do I get my child educated given what's going to happen? You know, give me a
Mm-hmm.
strategy. Give me like a blueprint. That's where I want to get
Mm-hmm.
to eventually. Um, we'll see. Maybe we can start a movement or join a movement. Maybe there's a movement out there. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I just want to get this talked about and then find a solution or join a solution. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we'll find something that's already way ahead of this. Maybe not. Right?
On your the podcast that you listen to, Moonshots, have they discussed anything like this?
Yes, they actually had one episode about education, and they addressed a special kind of school
Uh-huh.
that actually started a few years ago, and now it has franchises all over the country. They just opened a school in Santa Barbara, but they are very tech focused. They spend about an hour and a half of actual academic enrichment per day, and the rest of the day they focus on the other kind of skills that you'll need. And it's an in person school, but it's largely done through AI and on the screen. They have on
Wow.
screen time too. Yeah, I'll see if I can get the name on this as a clip or as some sort of overlay.
Yeah. I would love to go and like have them give me like a tour or something, and
Hmm.
explain like what their curriculum is. That sounds amazing. That is so
It's
cool. And I wonder how much it costs too.
it's expensive. It's expensive.
I would imagine, yeah.
They're trying to democratize it. They're trying to get versions of it that are cheaper. They're trying to also create a curriculum for public schools, but they said they get so much resistance from public schools when they go present their ideas because it breaks the model completely.
Mhm.
They don't have teachers. They have coaches, I believe what they call them.
Mhm.
So they're hiring people without teaching credentials. They're paying the minimum salary for a coach in that school is $100,000.
My gosh, that's really nice.
They are hiring ex NBA coaches. They're hiring really talented people, ex CEOs, and I'm guessing they're paying those people like $200,000. And
Mhm.
the point for that person is not to sit there and teach because the teaching is being done by the AI. The point is to motivate, encourage. Like that's why they hire the ex NBA coach. Like your
Mhm.
job is to make sure the ball is rolling, that student is engaged and loving school. That's the goal. Love
Mhm.
school, and it seems to be working. So
God, I love that.
yeah, it's really amazing. It's that sort of episode that keeps them going back to moonshots because you think, oh, it's always about AI. What's really? It's more than that. They are like the tech heavy, and they are tech heavy. The tech heavy enterprise CEO. It really is like a show for CEOs, honestly.
Mhm.
But they try to bring it back now and again. And that was a good episode where anyone could have watched that episode and learned a lot. So
I'm gonna I want to watch that episode. Um, so yeah, I'll look for
yeah,
that. I'll
I'll
look
send
for
you the
that
link.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Maybe I'll drop a
Yeah.
link in here, but there are no other podcasts but this one, so I don't want to do advertising for anyone else. But actually, no, for moonshots, I would advertise. I would recommend to, like that one. Everyone should watch it. But if you really want to know what's about to happen, like they have the pulse. I can't say everything I've been learning is from them because I watched like a dozen podcasts every day practically. I don't know how much. I don't have that much time, but I find the time to like sneak something in from about 12
Mhm.
different podcasts. But they are really probably the most up to date. They do two podcasts a week, and even
Mhm.
they say we can't keep up with two a week. There's just so much happening every day. We can't even keep up, and it's just getting started. So I don't even know what to do.
Mhm. Yeah. Exciting times.
Very exciting
Change.
times.
Lots of change
Change
and everything. Society, the way we're gonna the way everything functions. Exciting
completely.
times to be alive.
I think so. I think that's what it's going to be. I think we will be. Imagine the world where you wake up every day and are just perpetually excited because that's how things work now. Think about that. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Perpetually excited.
I think that's
That'd be
possible.
be nice. Get out of the
Yeah.
monotony of the current situation that a lot of us are in.
Yeah, I think it's possible because I think we'll be in control. Like we will feel agency. We will feel like we're not being manipulated. We'll feel like we are doing the manipulating in a sense. Like we are creating our own future. That's kind of the point of all these tools is that you're become a creator, not a receiver. A bit of math work out there because not everyone wants to be a creator. I understand that, but I think more and more people should consider it because I find it enjoyable.
Mhm.
Being with children, helping children out, whether you're teaching them or whatever, that is creation. Right? You're helping found a person, form a person. So I think people need to think bigger about what being a creator means, and maybe that'll help them think about like having a garden. You're a creator.
Mhm.
Using your imagination, that's being a creator. And I think
Yeah.
all these tools are going to give us the opportunity to all be creators and be amazing creators. Right? That's where we're headed. I hope. I
I
hope.
hope so too.
All right. Once again, thank you so much. It's been great. Thanks for staying up late here. And
Yeah, thank you.
thanks for hanging in.
All right, until our next episode.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to the golden age. Let the whole world listen. Turn the dial up, elevate. This is our ignition. Take it to the limit. Come and get with it. Welcome to the golden age. Let the whole world listen. Turn the dial up, elevate. This is our ignition. Take it to the limit. Come and get with it. New ideas on a live wire feed. Questions get sharper every time we speak. No permission, no holding back. We're mapping tomorrow right on this track. New voices.